Good evening, folks. Good evening. My name's David. I'm one of the staff members here at Orangefield, and it's my pleasure to introduce this evening. First of all, I'd like to offer a very warm welcome on behalf of our Minister Gareth and the session of Orangefield. Very warm welcome. Some of you may be first-time visitors to us, so if you just bear with me, I have to do the wee health and safety bit. If anyone needs a toilet this evening, the toilets are back out this door, past the door that you come in, past reception. There's a ladies, gents and universal toilet on the corridor to your right-hand side. There's also a universal toilet out in the vestibule beside us here. If you have a mobile phone with you this evening, if you would either turn it off or put it to silent, please, whichever is appropriate to you. If you could take a moment to look at the person on your right and the person on your left. In the unlikely event that the fire alarms will go off, please make your way quickly and quietly through the main church doors to my right, your left. For those of you seated on this side of the church, if you'd make your way out through the fire exit to the rear of the stage. The assembly point is the gates of Loop Studios, which is just next door up the Castlereagh Road, 100 yards. So if you please make your way there and reunite yourselves with the person on your right and the person on your left so that we know if anyone is missing. Once you're there, please await further instructions. I'm also this evening's designated first aider. If anyone has need of first aid at any point this evening, I will be in the reception area waiting for you. So yeah, that's me. Thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. I have no party trick, sorry. My name is Roisin Scott, and I have worked for Fields of Life for 4 years as of last week. My job is to officially welcome you all and say thank you so much for coming this evening, and welcome to Inspire 2026. Whether you're here in the room with us tonight or whether you're online, hi. It's lovely for you to be with us, and we really do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy lives to be here tonight, or not even just tonight, just to journey on this with us. So thank you so much for coming. Tonight you're going to hear stories. You're going to hear stories of hope from some of the hardest to reach places in East Africa. Stories of children, of families and communities who are finding new possibilities, often against the odds because of people like you and at home. We're going to begin in a very special way tonight. We're going to have one of our young people in East Africa, one of our VIPs, and they are going to open the evening for us in prayer. So let's pray.
Let us our ancestors and we pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for giving us another chance to have the Inspire Conference again. Thank you for everyone at Fields of Life, the supporters, sponsors, and staff. We also thank you for our parents and teachers. We pray that you bless this evening as you inspire us through the work that Fields of Life is doing in our schools and communities across East Africa. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Meet has a God-given future, and we in Fields of Life believe that every child deserves the opportunity to thrive. So tonight is about celebrating. It's about celebrating what is possible. So let's get started straight away, and I will pass the mic to Tony.
Thank you so much, Roisin. My name is Tony. I'm the team leader at Fields of Life, and I'm looking around the room here, and I see so many faces of people who mean so much to me, and we're really grateful that you could come this evening. As we thought about what to share this evening, it's actually really, really difficult, because actually the truth is there's more that we could tell you. We could be here all night. We could be here till midnight telling you the stories of impact that are being had right across Uganda, Rwanda, and South Sudan. And so we've had to be very, very choosy. So it's actually really, really difficult to think, what are we going to talk about? Because if I tried to tell everybody everything, there's just too much to say. But I thought before we begin, I just wanted to say, what are we here for? What's the point of this evening? And I guess there's two main things that I want you to take away this evening. First, I want it to be a night of celebration. A night, as Roisin said, to celebrate all that God has done through you, through Fields of Life, to say that is incredible, and hopefully it inspires you. And secondly, I hope it encourages us. It's definitely going to encourage me just to keep going, not to give up, and just to keep fighting on and doing as little as we can or as much as we can. I thought I would just share a very quick slide just talking about the impact that has been had over this year. And these can be just figures. And I hope what happens throughout this evening is that you realize that those figures are actually individual people. They're children just like our children that are being impacted through you and through Fields of Life. And for me, I love a bit of football. And I was thinking about Old Trafford Stadium, the largest stadium in England. And I was thinking about just how large that stadium is. And do you know what the capacity of Old Trafford Stadium is? It's about 70,000 people. And I thought, imagine replacing every single one of those heads that you see in that stadium with a child in East Africa, and think, wow, looking around this room, we made that possible. We blessed that many children this year alone. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that something that we want to celebrate as a family and as a group and as a team? Also, we were able to partner with 80 schools. Now, you can imagine I'm not going to give you videos and stories from 80 schools. And if we don't mention the school that you're connected with this evening, I hope you can forgive us and that you can get the feedback from us about how your school is doing. But we've been able to just choose a few examples of impact that are being had in those schools. We've had 24 schools with improved infrastructure. That could be a new kitchen, that could be a new security fence, that could be new toilet blocks, all these different types of interventions. And over the year, we had 95% of the children in our partner schools achieving a grade between 1 and 3, which is essentially A to C in this curriculum. We had 40 boreholes, deep boreholes that have been drilled in very rural and remote locations where these people have never had clean water in their communities before. Completely life-changing. 13 toilet blocks built, 305 teachers trained, 124 young child mothers who have returned to school because of our interventions. Isn't that incredible? That is really, really just awe-inspiring. And I hope it inspires you, not to give ourselves a tap on the back and go, oh, aren't we so great? But in order to inspire us to say, wow, amazing what God is doing through our wee organization. It reminds me of a verse, and this verse has kind of stuck with me over this last season. And the verse is very simple. It just says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And that's what I hope we can walk away with this evening. Let's not give up. Let's keep going. I hope, and we were talking with Trevor. Trevor started Fields of Life 30 years ago, and he was saying, if you'd told me that all this impact was being had 30 years ago when I started, I wouldn't believe you. Well, I hope that in 30 years' time, we look back and we're able to say the same thing. I can't believe what has been achieved because of what God has done through the organization. I want to welcome each of you here. I also know that this event is being recorded, so you'll have to be in your best behavior, and it's being live streamed. So I want to say a big shout out to our friends who are watching. I know, for example, there's Ed and Lisa who are logging in from Florida. We have our friends, Ian and Laura from Colorado. We have our team in Uganda are logging in as well. So there's people all over the world who are logging in tonight to watch this, and you're extremely welcome. I know that there's people here in this room who have traveled far, people who have traveled from Scotland, from England, from Ireland, from East Belfast, all the way from East Belfast, some of you. But a very special welcome to Maggie. Maggie sits on our board in the USA. Do you want to stand up, Maggie, and let's give her a big clap? And of course, our team leader in East Africa, Esther. If you want to stand up, Esther. And both Maggie and Esther are with us this week, and it is just amazing that they have the chance to meet many of you and to be able to inspire you as well. And maybe just in this moment, why don't you turn to someone around you who you don't yet know and just say, hello, lovely to see you, and it's great to be with you tonight. So I'll give you a moment to do that. At Fields of Life, I'll never get you stopped now. At Fields of Life, our vision is very, very simple. Our vision is to see skilled and educated young people inspired by faith, hope, and love going on to transform their communities. It's very simple. We want to let children thrive, but it's not easy. Nothing about what we do is easy. And when I say we, I especially mean Esther and her team. They are going to the difficult places. The places, actually, if I'm really being honest, that many organizations are not going to. Why? Because it's hard. Because they're dangerous, because they're difficult. But that, as an organization, is where we feel called to. That's where we feel that we need to be. Whether that's in the big government school, that the poorest children imaginable, or in really remote districts like West Nile or South Sudan, we feel called to the hard-to-reach areas, the difficult places. And so our goal is very simple. We want to see children in these difficult places be able to say, I am educated, I am safe, I am fed, and most importantly, I am loved. And so tonight you're going to hear stories, you're going to hear different people talk about how it has impacted them, and we're going to delve into their lives for a moment just to understand what life is like for them. And so let me invite up Esther, our team leader in East Africa, to say a few words on behalf of our team who work tirelessly, who go to these remote places, who do the difficult. And let's give her a big round of applause and a welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Esther Sempewa, and I'm the team leader for Fields of Life East Africa. I bring greetings from my team in East Africa and from the children, the women, and the communities. No amount of words can express what is in my heart. My heart is so full of gratitude, of joy, of appreciation to each one of you, both here and online, and those of you who may not be online right now, but all our partners. We are so grateful. Thank you so much for believing in the children in East Africa. Children you may never meet, communities you may never visit, but thank you for believing in them, that through your partnership, their lives can be forever changed and truly transformed. Thank you again for trusting Fields of Life as your development partner of choice. Thank you so much. And as we serve the communities and the children, we can only promise you value for the money you are investing in these communities. We always do our level best not to disappoint you. so that wherever you are, if you're able to visit Uganda, South Sudan, or Rwanda, you see what is happening. But even if you're not able to, we want you to be happy wherever you are, that your money is getting best value. We'll ensure accountability, continued transparency, and above all, expressing your love through whatever we do to these communities. Because of your partnership, hope is not just an idea to the children in East Africa. You've made it a reality they are living, because you've given them a reason to hope for the following day and to hope for a brighter future. I take this opportunity to introduce the incredible team I work with in East Africa. Thank you.
What inspires you to work for Fields of Life?
Having been sponsored by Fields of Life from primary 3 to the university, that inspires me to work for Fields of Life.
I like the work that Fields of Life is doing outside, and I would want to be a part. I would like to be a change agent in my community, and that's what Fields of Life is doing.
Moses, what do you like about your work?
The fact that we minister to the neediest is what I love about my work.
The opportunity that Fields of Life has enabled me to drive out to the field, meet those young children and the school communities, and give them hope and give them ability to meet their goals.
Fields of Life is very special because people here are so loving, caring, God-fearing, especially the morning devotions.
Daniel, what one thing I feel like about working with Fields of Life?
The morning devotions and the joint devotions.
At Fields of Life, we aim at giving the best to the people we serve. And to the donor community, we also aim at giving them the best in return to what they have offered to Fields of Life.
We drill close to 1,000 at the board in Uganda and East Africa, but majority.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one word for the community that you have for them?
Sustainability.
Mr. Masaba, why does your work matter?
My work matters a lot because we speak life to the children, parents and teachers.
That's great fun. Let's give a clap. They'll not be able to hear us, but maybe they will. I'm pretty sure Bernard and Moses could have their own show together. Bernard's son is sitting in the audience. I think he has a natural talent for that. So let's get started. Let's look at the impact that you've made over this year. Education, I'm sure we will all agree, it changes absolutely everything. If you can give a child a good start to life, it can change the trajectory of not only their life, but their family's life, of their community's life. But let's start at the very, very beginning. And so one of the areas that Fields of Life is concentrating on is early childhood development, area where it is deeply underinvested in, where children are simply not getting to nursery school, not getting to early years education. And so all the statistics are saying, if you can give children early childhood education, they are far more likely to stay in school right through to primary 7 and complete their primary education. And yet, for tens of thousands, for hundreds of thousands of children that we're in contact with, that is not the case. Why? Because they have nowhere to go. Even the primary schools where we are partnering, we find that many of the children are either not able to go to a nursery school at all, or the nursery school that they are in is just really crammed, really dirty, really dingy. And there was one school in particular that we kept visiting called Nakapini Primary School. And this school in central Uganda is a school of hundreds and hundreds of children. It's a brilliant school. We've been working there in lots of incentives, helping these children to have a good education, to be safe. But the nursery that they had was simply awful. This is a picture of it. As you can see, it is just made with some wood stuck together. You can imagine when the rains come, it just completely flooded. And there were 150 children in that shed. In fact, I'm pretty sure our garden shed in our garden looks better than that. And yet, this is where hundreds of children are having to learn. And when the rains were coming in, everything was getting muddy, they're having to run. But what would happen is, really, let's be honest, many of the parents said, nope, we'll just keep you at home, or let's cram them all into primary one. And primary one has, 200 students, and so they're absolutely stuck in this classroom. And so for years we were praying, please can we have the opportunity to be able to help these children? And thanks to many of you, we have been able to build a brand new nursery building. And so I want to share a video of the transformation that is happening to this little nursery school.
There was a challenge here at Nakapini community. First of all, for the parents to understand the need for early childhood education. This new ECD structure is going to be of very great importance, increasing the number of enrollments. The children themselves, they feel they are safe because even when it rains, classes can go on normally. Even in the community, the leaders are so happy because they know security for the children in the community is assured.
You've really built hope to our children. We are sure their future is now brighter. They are now enjoying lessons. They are learning very well. We used to study from a very dusty environment. We would teach these children. By the time they would be going back home, they would be very dusty. But since we got this building and the new furniture, our children are enjoying lessons, and the teachers are also able to express themselves well with all the methods that they've got. The classes are very good. The future is now brighter. You see how they are all excited. We are really very grateful for your continuous support to our school. Praise be to God for that love.
I am loved. I am safe. I am safe. I am educated.
Just lovely to celebrate that. I always love when you show videos of the early childhood because they're very sweet and they love being in front of the camera. And then you get in front of the teenagers and they go, but it is really sweet and just such a celebration to see these young people have a safe start to life. And of course, that's where their journey begins. And for many of you, you will have been sponsoring children and young people right from sponsorship and seeing them grow up to become men and women. And I want to invite up Helen, my colleague, who's going to just chat a little bit about just that journey that we can take together by partnering with Fields of Life to sponsor a single young person on their journey through child sponsorship. So let's give a big welcome to Helen.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, so for many children, that journey of education only continues because someone chooses to support them along the way. And as Tony said, one of the most powerful ways you can do that is through sponsorship. And so I want to share the words of someone you may never meet, but whose life has been shaped by sponsorship. And his name is Ivan. So this is Ivan. The first photo was the first photo taken of Ivan nearly 20 years ago when he was beginning his school journey. And the second one is the most recent one. So these are Ivan's words. If you've ever wondered whether this work truly matters, let me be living proof. We were 6 children raised by our mother after our father left. She worked tirelessly, but it was often not enough. In 2007, I was given the opportunity of sponsorship. not because I was more deserving than others, but because of the potential you saw in me. You didn't just provide school fees, you renewed my hope and transformed my future. Today, I stand not as a victim of circumstances, but as a testament to what faith, love, and perseverance can achieve. You didn't just sponsor a child, you raised a doctor. And today, Ivan is a doctor in his own community, but his story began with someone choosing to walk alongside him month after month, year after year. And when that happens, the impact reaches far beyond the child. It reaches families and it reaches communities. And stories like Ivan's are extraordinary, and that same story is unfolding across East Africa today. And we're going to watch a short video where we hear from a young girl called Tara and a grandmother called Rosemary who are experiencing that journey right now.
Nange mbadde nkimwagaliza asomeko abeere bulungi era ndi musanyufu nnyo, mbeebaza nnyo era ndi musanyufu olw'ebirungi ebyo byonna bye bankoledde. Okuviira ddala omwana yatandika wano n'afuna obuyambi obwo banzizaamu nnyo amaanyi ng'ate nga nninayo n'abalala era abali ku mukono gwange bennyamba naye nga tono Katonda n'amunkwatirako n'afuna obuyambi. Njagala mwana wange asome abeere wa mugaso mu biseera eby'omu maaso abe nga nange nnyamba era obubaka nga njagala butuuke gye bali. Kindi musanyufu, essanyu ly'amaanyi nnyo ku ekyo kye bankolera.
My name is Tara. I'm in primary 6. My favorite subject is science. Being in school helps me as a girl to learn skills that will help me in future. Without the support of my sponsors, I would have been seated at home, but because of their help, I am in school and I am able to gain skills. I'm studying hard right now because in future I want to be a teacher.
And these stories don't just happen by accident. They are made possible by people who quietly work faithfully and quietly behind the scenes, ensuring that every child is seen, that every letter is shared, and every connection is real. So many of you here tonight and joining online will know Nicola, who leads our sponsorship program here, and she works alongside an incredible group in Uganda and Rwanda and South Sudan. And together, they're supporting over 2,000 children through sponsorship. And they are the ones that are walking alongside these precious children and their families every day. They're building relationships, sharing stories, gathering letters and photos, and making sure those updates reach you, the sponsors. So thank you to our team who work so faithfully behind the scenes, showing up every day. And thank you to every one of you that chooses to journey with a child through their education. And we know that so many of you here tonight and those joining online already are part of that journey and supporting a young child. But if this is something you would like to find out more about, we would love to chat with you about that. And so alongside education, there are so many other barriers that children face every day. Barriers that can prevent them from even getting to school and from staying safe and healthy. And one of the most urgent of those is access to safe, clean water. So I'm going to invite Tony back up to share more.
It's very appropriate that I just went back to get a lovely sip of cold water. Water obviously is one of the things that holds back children from getting to school. That's the whole reason that we work in the area of water. And as I look around the room, I see there's quite a few people here who have been championing water and clean water for years. Angus, our chair, has been, we were talking earlier, has been championing water in East Africa for 24 years and inspiring many, many people to help drill boreholes. But it is not easy to drill for water, especially in the areas where our team chooses to drill. And a couple of years ago, I had an immense privilege of sleeping out with the drillers in the tents where they're staying. And they stay really remote areas, really difficult areas where the communities really have never had clean water before. But obviously with that comes a lot of danger. And you can imagine staying all night in a tent in a community you've never met before, and then working with the leaders there and working with the communities and the individuals and the families, bringing the meals, and who knows what those meals are like and if they'll be well cooked. Our drillers do very, very difficult work, and they're away from their families for months at a time. And they maybe go back for a couple of weeks, and then they go back out on the road for months at a time. Such dedication. It's really humbling for me when people say, thank you for what you're doing at Fields of Life. And when I think of our drilling team, those who are spending months and months in the field, deep in the villages. And more recently, our team in East Africa, our drilling team, they had an encounter at the Congo border. And this is an area where we have felt really called to move to, called West Nile. And West Nile in Uganda is one of the poorest regions in Uganda. Really, you do not see any other white people when you're going around. They look at you, who are you and why are you here? And as you're walking around and as you're visiting these communities, you understand just how remote these areas are that we're working. And right on the Congo border, the drilling team were there, and they were drilling a borehole when out of nowhere, these army men came out of the bush, out of the jungle in Congo, and had them at gunpoint. And as I was talking to the drilling team, you could see they were literally petrified, even just retelling the story. This was not just a scary moment for them. They thought, we are going to get killed here. Even if it's accidental, we are going to get killed. But these rebels had come out of the jungle and were threatening them. Who are you and why are you here and why are you drilling water? Long story short, they were able to leave the area very quickly. Even though the Ugandan government came and said, you will be very safe, please continue drilling. They said, maybe we'll come back when things calm down a little bit. But I think it just goes to show you just how dangerous positions our team go to every single day. And every single year, they're drilling up to 40 to 50 boreholes every year. Deep boreholes that are providing clean water to an entire community. And this year is a very, very special year for Fields of Life, because this year we drilled our 1,000th borehole. Isn't that incredible? 1,000 boreholes all around Uganda. And we've just got a small video here just to show you the difference that is having in these communities and give you a flavor for just this work that we're doing in the area of water.
My name is Moses, and I work with Fields of Life East Africa as the WASH coordinator. When I visited Jopajalang community in Zombo district, I told the community to take me to their water source. When I reached the water source, I felt very much moved because of the dirty water that this community was consuming. The water source in Jopajalang community was unsafe for women, girls and boys, and the elderly in the community. Moving from homes to the water source, it was a long distance, but also the way to the water source was very bushy. The girls were not safe because anything could happen to them along the way. We saw children drinking the water, which was very unsafe. Unfortunately, this is the only water source in the community. The women have to come for this water to take home, for drinking, for cooking food, for washing. The children in the community and in the schools around drink from this same water source, where the animals are also drinking. When I looked into the water, I only saw diseases that could be transmitted. I only saw how unsafe the children were in these communities.
My name is George Otaka. I am WASH manager, water hygiene and sanitation manager, and also the hydrogeologist of Fields of Life. I want to take you to the journey where we are doing the drilling work. The drilling team is already there. I've already done the siting. My work is to do the siting and to locate water where it is. Now I will take you to a journey of about 400 kilometers, and then we'll start the drilling. This is the time. Let's move on for 5 hours drive. Thank you. Let's go. Preserve our families in Jesus' name. Amen. Good. Now we are on our trip to the drilling site where I would be drilling bores, and the drilling teams are ready there, and the community will be ready to receive us.
Now we are hitting the Maram Road, Bad Road to Butaleki, the site where the drilling is happening. It's really a bad one. Potholes. It's a slow drive. But that is what we are used to.
But also, you know, people are involved in water collections like children, girl child, and women, and some of them have had bad testimony that they were raped as they go to fetch water. When you bring water close to them, safe and clean water, then it means in a way you remove these challenges, dealt with, or reduce it to an extent.
We keep moving where there are no safe clean water, and the journey is very harsh, but we keep moving because when we see safe clean water, we know life has been changed.
When the community gets safe water, their life changes in very many aspects. Hygiene and sanitation improves in homes, women are protected and girls, gender-based violence reduces, children are able to go to school without disturbances. But since this community received safe water source, things have changed. Cases of cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, they have all reduced. The borehole is situated centrally in the community where everyone can access the water. To this community, this borehole is a precious gift.
Hi everyone, I would like to say thank you so much for the gift of clean water. Clean water keeps especially adolescent girls in school because they can access water, they can keep clean, and they can keep healthy. Thank you so much.
Thanks to your generosity and your partnership, 1,000 wells are transforming lives with dignity, with clean water, and with hope. Thanks for walking this journey with us and for believing, as we do, that safe water changes everything.
So water really does change everything, and I know it sounds cliche, but it really makes such an incredible difference. And I know so many people here have given to boreholes or donated boreholes in memory of loved ones, and just it's amazing to think of all those people that are just transformed, tens of thousands of people that have been transformed because of the gift of clean water. So thank you for partnering with us in such a special way. But as I said at the beginning, I hope that's not where we stop. There's still so much work to do. And the area that we've moved to that was in the beginning of that video in West Nile in Zombo, the need is dire. It really is awful. And this year alone, we hope, God willing, to be able to drill 30 boreholes in that region alone. And we're also looking to drill boreholes in South Sudan for the first time, which I'm so excited about, because last year I shared with you that it was just a vision and a dream, but thanks to a very amazing donor, we have the opportunity to begin our work there, and we're really excited to start, but it is going to be extremely difficult, as you can imagine. So I hope that you can join with us to help support us to make these dreams a reality, and allow us to reach further, to go to the difficult places, and to support these amazing drillers who are out on the road every single day, and allow more children to stay in school and to say, I am safe. I'm going to invite Roisin up. I'm just going to tell us a little bit about Namatumba.
Thanks so much, Tony. Oh, it does my heart good seeing those videos, honestly. My colleagues tease me that I cry all the time, but I'm holding it together so far, so I'm very proud of myself. So we've talked about doing really difficult things and going to the hard-to-reach places. So I want to invite Ross, where are you? Up on the stage. And while he's coming up, Ross and Tony and a group of others pushed themselves to the absolute limit, and they took on a half Ironman challenge. I'll get them to explain what that is, but it's not a walk in the park. And they did this to support children in Namatumba. And actually, our colleagues in Fields of Life and the people of Namatumba now call them the Ironmen. So I think they're quite proud of themselves for that bit. I think there's a slide coming up on the screen now with some stats, maybe. And I actually was at Namatumba Primary about 1.5 years ago, and I have this exact same photograph that I took on my phone because I could not believe the craziness of these numbers. Can you imagine some of these classroom sizes? 475 kids in P2, I think. I mean, my youngest son who's here is in P7, and I can even just about imagine 30 of him in one class, never mind the numbers that are up here. So it's actually crazy. It's a beautiful sight, but the numbers are mind-blowing. So I want to ask these guys a few questions about their challenge. First of all, would you mind telling us, one of you, oh, get another microphone, there's one down there, Ross, run there. What is a half Ironman, just first of all?
So we're definitely not Ironman because we're only half Ironman, so I don't know which half we choose. So half Ironman was 2 kilometers swim, and then a 90-kilometer bike ride over hills, and then you finish off with running a half marathon.
Okay, so we're going to ask you the first question. What made you decide to take on something as extreme as this half Ironman for Fields of Life and for Namatumba?
So I had visited Namatumba Primary School with my colleagues, and Esther had taken me there, and I saw the population size. And they were staying in really, I don't know if there's a picture, but like tents, where makeshift shelters, and hundreds of children were meeting like this for school. And my heart broke, and I thought, something has to be done about this. And then it came to budget setting season. You love a budget. And we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford to do it, and we were going to have to cross it off our list as something that can't be funded this year because we don't have the money. And I just felt this wee prompt inside me to say, you should do something about that. And I went, nah, I don't think I could. The amount was £90,000, and I thought, that's a ridiculous amount of money. There's no way I could raise £90,000 myself with friends and family, no way. But that nudge just kept coming back at me, and then I had this kind of picture in my head of speaking in front of my church, Rehope Glasgow, shout out to Rehope, and I was just picturing myself standing up like this and saying, does anybody want to do a big challenge with me? I'm going to do one. And I put it off for ages, and then I thought, okay, I'm just going to do it. And so I made a wee video, I played it at church, and that day, 5 of my friends and Ross all said, yeah, we'll do it. That sounds great. Not having a clue what it was. And we signed up to do the triathlon. And by the end of that week, we actually had our first £10,000. And it just felt like, wow, this is really going to happen.
Amazing, thank you. So to you, Ross, what was the toughest moment, whether physically or mentally, and what kept you going to do this?
Good evening, everyone. Some of us found the event more challenging than others. I trained for about 6 months. This man trained for what I felt like was about 2 weeks, and he still beat me. I'll be honest, I'll say a little story of just to demonstrate how much I was struggling. At my lowest point in the race, so set the scene, was going for about 5.5 hours, hadn't stopped moving for a long time. I was coming up to an aid station. I stopped, and I thought, I need to use the bathroom here. And well, right in front of 2 lovely, unsuspecting race attendants, I just started to use the bathroom there on the spot. And I just filled my 2 shoes, and I still had 5 kilometers still to go. Maybe a bit TMI, but look, we're all friends.
I don't have any words. Sorry, let me just give me a second.
So to answer the question, I struggled a lot, but I think, you know what, I was just bowled over by the support and the generosity of so many people within my network and beyond, people that I didn't even know contributing specifically to my kind of part in this. And so not finishing the race, I suppose, was never going to be an option. It was going to get done, whether it was across a certain number of hours or longer. But yeah, just the support and encouragement and that sense of community that we had as a group doing this event was just immense.
Thank you. Hold on to the mic there, Ross. I'll ask you this next question. So when you then saw the completed classroom block in Nambatumba, how did you feel knowing your challenge had actually helped make that possible?
You know, I think I'm just hugely humbled for the small part that I played in this. I mean, it was £90,000, and we kind of thought, what am I going to do? But I was just one cog in this kind of big, amazing group of guys. And I'm so proud to have been able to act like a conduit between my network here in Northern Ireland and the lives of so many young people in East Africa. And actually to say, I've been able to connect people to something real and directly change and impact young people's lives. So just really humbled by that.
Thanks so much. Tony, final question to you. What would you say to someone who is here tonight or indeed online, and they're sort of thinking, I could never do something like that?
I guess that's what I definitely said to myself. I said, there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could do the challenge, but there's no way I could raise the money. But what I found was that people were really eager to give. People wanted to support us. They were really keen. They were joyful in supporting us. We had individuals who give small amounts, individuals who give large amounts, but everybody was so pleased to do it. And also, it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. I'm so glad I did it. Just the camaraderie with friends, just the excitement of it, just doing something to push myself, but also that I knew had a bigger purpose. And so my encouragement would be, and that's what we hope tonight. The reason we're sharing this story is not so you say, oh, well done, but it's so that you can say, I wonder what I could do. And it doesn't matter if it's a half Ironman or what it is. It just does not matter. Maybe it's baking cakes. Maybe it's doing a crazy swim in the sea. It doesn't matter. But what matters is doing something. And whatever you can do really can make a massive difference.
Completely. Thank you both so much. And thank you to all of the Ironmen, whether online or in the room, who took part in this challenge. And I suppose this is what it looks like when people choose to turn effort into impact. And we have a little video now of the story of Nambatumba.
Nambatumba Primary School was started way back in 1926. Right now, we are 99 years of existence. This is a school with a very large enrollment. We have over 2,000 learners here. When it came to classrooms, these students were studying under crowded classrooms. And actually, some of them were even sitting on the floor. This is the situation in which these children were. With the coming of Fields of Life, they really came to bring life to Nambatumba Primary School. As I talk, we are having a new classroom block, having 4 classrooms. fully equipped with 63-seater desks. This one is giving opportunity to learners to love the school. First of all, the rooms are very spacious. Now children come and enjoy, they sit in groups, they discuss, and it gives them the urge to always come to school.
Your support has enabled us to construct a beautiful classroom block at Namutumba Primary School. This classroom block has improved the sitting posture of these children compared to before, where children used to sit down on the floor under the tents. During the time of the rain could enter the class and they had nowhere to sit. Most times it would wet their books. This time around, this classroom block, it is very safe and it is comfortable. There is enough space for the teacher to monitor the work of the children. The parents are very happy for the new construction and they are bringing in more children to be registered in Namutumba Primary School. They believe that this time around, as there is a new classroom block, their children's performance is going to improve as well as the health of their children. This classroom block is not just a building, but a doorway to opportunity. These children now have space to dream. We thank you so much for your contribution. May God bless you.
Absolutely fantastic video. I love that. So this classroom exists because people chose to act, because people were willing to step out of their comfort zones and do something big or indeed small. I'm not going to lie, there's no way I'm doing a half Ironman ever, but to make a difference. And the reality is that there are still classroom blocks to be built in places like Namutumba. But the amazing thing is that people are stepping forward in lots of different ways. It could be running a fashion show. It could be doing a sponsored rowathon or a marathon. Some people have been sponsored to cut off their hair. Some have organized concerts. The list goes on and on. But everybody can do something. It doesn't have to be an Ironman. I'm more a fashion show kind of girl myself. But when people step forward, lives really can change. So I'm now going to take my seat, and I think, Tony, you're over. Do you want this one?
All good. That's why I've been sitting up here for a while. Just before I do move on, I just want to acknowledge Temple Carrick School down in Greystones were another huge supporter of this project down over at Namutumba, and without them and their amazing support, for several years, the classroom block wouldn't have been possible. So if you're watching online, Temple Carrick, thank you, and we love you from all at Fields of Life. I now want to speak about a bit of a different context. South Sudan is certainly one of those difficult places that we work. It is remote, the conditions are harsh, and the needs are immense. We're working with only a fraction of the countless number of young people across the nation who are in desperate need of support. But through our Thrive program, we are currently supporting, we're partnered with 15 schools across 2 dioceses, right down in the south of the country, and we're working directly with 8,000 young people in this most difficult of places, for them to be able to say, I'm educated, I'm safe, I'm fed, and I'm loved. And one of these 15 schools is Cyril and Betty Johnston Memorial Primary School. And this school, safe to say, wouldn't exist, certainly not in its current form, without the vision, without the support, the dedication, and the love of our very own Dalway Johnston. And with that, I would like you to give a big warm welcome for Dalway to join me up here on stage. So, Dalway, please just begin. Tell us a little bit about the school and what it means to you to be able to honour your parents' legacy with it.
I probably want to go back to about 2002, when my father, Cyril Johnston, he was still alive, and about 10 years before he died, he helped build a school on the shores of Lake Victoria. I think it was about the 5th or 6th school that Fields of Life built. It's called New Life Entebbe, and it's a beautiful school right on the shores of Lake Victoria. And it reminded Dad of the primary school he had gone to in the 1930s, which was on the shores of Lough Neagh. So it was very symbolic. And I think my friend here, Roy Totten, went to that same school as well. And I was actually the last pupil at that school before it closed down. And it was one classroom, P1 to P7, wee country school. So having helped build that school in 2002, I think it was, I think about 10,000 students have now gone through that school, and lives have been changed and opportunities given. And I suppose when my father passed away and my mother passed away, and my daughter Hannah came to me and said, "Dad, do you fancy climbing Mount Kilimanjaro with me?" And I mean, Hannah is 30-something, as slim as anything and as fit as a flea, and she asked me to climb Kilimanjaro with her, and I said, "Hannah, I'm not sure." But she'd sowed the seed, and we ended up, thinking about that, and we decided we would try to raise money to build a school in memory of my late mother and father. So in 2024, Hannah and I set off for Kilimanjaro, and we had the trip of a lifetime. And it was the toughest thing probably I've ever done in life, but she helped us raise, I think, 60-something thousand to help build the school in South Sudan, in one of the neediest places that I have ever been. South Sudan is now, it is the poorest country on earth, and the children there just have no access to education. We think in the area that we are working, only one child out of every 10 gets to school. And that's not fair. I have 9 grandchildren. They will all be fed. They will all be educated. Those children, 90% of them haven't a chance unless we do something about it. And the area that we're working, there's hardly any other organizations helping in education. So it really did hit my heart, and I was delighted to get photographs recently to see the school up and thriving. And as it says here, lives will be changed, the community will be transformed, and hope will be given to hundreds of children who had no hope. And that really is what Fields for Life is about.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much, Dolly. It's just an amazing example of just to show us all actually what we do here can go so much further than what we sometimes can dream or even imagine. So we're just going to watch another video just to show again just the urgency of our work and why it matters so much right now.
And just, I wrote down the word legacy. What better legacy for any of us to give an opportunity for a child to thrive, either through sponsorship of a child, sponsorship of a teacher, building a toilet block, drilling a well, helping build a school, helping children thrive. What better legacy for so many of us in this room to leave. So thank you.
Life in South Sudan is marked by unimaginable challenges. Every day, thousands of children are waking up without food without access to safe and clean water, without education, without hope. The need can feel overwhelming, I know, but for millions of children, this is not just a crisis, this is their everyday reality.
South Sudan is the youngest nation now in the world. We don't have roads, we don't have infrastructure like hospitals, we don't have education. Children are really suffering. Many children have not held a book, they have not held a class. Others do not even get a meal to eat. The condition of children in South Sudan are very, very difficult. South Sudan has very high rate of illiteracy in the world. 75% of children do not have opportunity to go to school because of war, because of no school, because there is school and even no teachers. We have very big and high rate of children who drop out from school because of early marriage.
Fields of Life are working hard to rebuild these communities. We're working with schools to create school gardens where the children can have something to eat all year round. We're drilling deep quality boreholes that children can have safe, clean drinking water. We're building schools, training teachers to enable children to have hope. And we're helping hope reach further.
When we educate children, they change our nation. They bring for us peace. They make us who God wants us to be. This is my appeal to all of you who are listening to me.
Jesus said, whatever you can do for the least of these, you do for me. Today, you can let a child thrive. You can enable us to reach the furthest behind, the hard to reach areas, so that every child can have something to eat, something to drink, to have an education, and most importantly, to have hope. For as little as £2.50, you could feed a child for a whole year. Will you stand with us today? Will you help hope go even further?
Thank you, Ross and Dalway. Just such a poignant reminder that behind every statistic, every challenge, every skill is a child. And we've just heard there that as little as £2.50 can feed a child for an entire year, which is really, really hard for us to get our heads around. But a powerful reminder of what is possible, that our little, something so small, can really make an extraordinary difference. I would love to say a huge thank you tonight to the Bishop's Appeal and to CIYD. Through their Pancakes and Prayer Lent campaign this year, they galvanised young people from across Ireland to raise funds and support thousands and thousands of children in South Sudan with a daily meal at school every day. What an incredible thing to do. And a huge thank you to the Diocese of Down and Dromore as well for partnering with us over Lent, so that we could impact even more children. And as that video said, their partnership really is helping hope to reach further. I'd love to tell you a little bit tonight just about the I Am Loved aspect of our work. At Fields of Life, we really believe that every child deserves to feel the true weight of their worth. And our heart is that every child that we come into contact with would have the opportunity to hear that they are unconditionally loved by God. Love really shapes children profoundly. It shapes how they experience this world. It shapes their confidence, their resilience, their purpose, and most importantly, hope. Many children, though, grow up untouched by that truth. And so in our partner schools, we love to create the space for children to ask questions, to dream big dreams, and to discover who they are and develop holistically. Children like Kitty. So Tony and Pam, my colleagues, had the opportunity to go to Uganda just a couple of weeks ago, and they met this precious little girl called Kitty, and she's just 12 years old. She's one of 7, and her family work incredibly hard, but they face constant challenges, and resources are stretched incredibly thin for this family. Life for Kitty has not been easy at all. Like many children in her community, Kitty could easily be defined by what she lacks. But when she transferred to Namatumba Primary School that we've just heard about earlier this evening, she was first drawn in by the safe classrooms and amazing facilities, but the deeper needs of her heart for belonging and hope and identity were still to be awakened. And through the I Am Loved programme, Kitty got to encounter life-changing hope. She fell in love with going to worship time, with singing and dancing and praying with her friends and going to Bible studies and having discipleship in her school. And she began to understand how deeply she is loved by God. She received her very own Bible for the first time, and she described it as the most precious gift that she'd ever received. Everything has changed now for Kitty, how she sees herself, how she thinks about the future and her purpose. And today, Kitty isn't just being supported, she's becoming a leader. She loves and she serves, she speaks and leads, and she carries joy and confidence and faith, not because her circumstances are perfect, they're not, but because she knows that she's loved. Kitty is impacting her peers, her family, her community, and she shows us what can happen when children are not just given an education, but they're filled with hope and faith and purpose. And so at Fields of Life, it's our privilege to get to work alongside the local church and other organisations like Bible Educational Services to distribute children's Bibles and Christian resources, to get those into the hands of these children and their teachers, to train teachers and community members in discipleship and mentoring, leadership coaching, and to support children to go to youth camps in the summer that otherwise they simply wouldn't have the opportunity to attend. Love really is woven through every aspect of our work. Love is our work. And when a child knows that they're loved, that change doesn't stop with them. We've seen that time and time again over the years of Fields of Life, that it has this incredible ripple effect that goes far beyond what we can see. But behind every story like Kitty's is people like you who give, who pray, who go and who partner with us to make that possible. And so this evening, I'd love to invite Angus, Mark and Linda, if you guys want to come up and join me on stage. So just some of the voices from across the Fields of Life family, people who've been involved with Fields of Life in different ways, who are going to share a little bit about what their journey has looked like with us. So have a seat, let's get comfortable. So we'll start with Angus. So Angus is the chairman of the Fields of Life board and has been a long-term supporter, 24, 25 years of involvement. So that's maybe underestimating it, Angus. But Angus, you've been part of Fields of Life for a really long time. How would you describe that journey and what has it meant to you personally?
I need to be careful because my wife's here, but I'll say it was one of the greatest privileges of my life. Being part of Fields of Life, it's just been a joy. My wife's called Joy, but it's been a joy. I was actually sharing in the board today when I was reflecting, because I come to the end of my role as chair of the board, and that has been a great privilege. But I was just reflecting back, and it's a bit like a plaited rope, and I've been thinking about my faith and my work and my involvement in Fields of Life, and it's been like a plaited rope where they've all sort of interwoven, and through my work I've made lots of contacts that have been able to talk about Fields of Life. Those contacts have then got involved through Fields of Life, I have met some incredible people, and they have been an absolute inspiration for my faith. So I'm just talking personally here, not among the rest. So it has been a brilliant journey, and I did look up when a plaited rope is 25 or 30% stronger, and just that interwoven thing has been brilliant. But for me, the real joy of being involved in Fields of Life is just the story of the likes of Ivan. And it's a bigger story than what you heard, but he was in a really bad place, but was spotted and was given an opportunity, and now he's a doctor to bless others. So I could talk all night, but I better not.
Amazing, thank you, Angus. And so Mark is part of our Orangefield Church family, long-term family friend, and hero to many. But Mark is taking a team out to Uganda next month with Orangefield. So Mark, how has partnering with Fields of Life shaped your church community here in Orangefield?
I suppose as a second daughter almost, would you? The only way we could say, we go back a long time. But here in Orangefield, you're sitting in this lovely building. Wasn't always like this. That used to be the front of the church. You used to come in there and sit facing that way. And just shy of, what must be 17, 18 years ago, we decided to commit to maximising the site here for the church. We were committing to spend an awful lot of money. And we were very much challenged as a church at that time, in the leadership of the church and the community of our church here, the fellowship, to commit to giving and giving more, even though we were wanting to build here, and it was a big build that we had. And part of that giving then, as we did that and looking for partners and projects to give to, then Fields of Life, we started to partner with Fields of Life at that time, and started to build a really good relationship, a really good partnership with them, to the point that now one of our main global partners, which is just fabulous. And even seeing some of the stories tonight, I have to say, it humbles me to sit and watch this. It excites me about the team going out. But as we keep partnering and getting stronger in that relationship, it has been something super. Even building, you can build big buildings, you can maximize sites, but actually as a church we just felt it was the heart to give more, as we were given here to the wider world community that we wanted to serve. So that has sort of focused Orangefield, and that's just been growing. And then we were in the project with Nakawanzo, and I'll maybe talk about that as part of the team question, maybe.
Perfect.
That's okay.
That's great. Thanks, Mark. And then Linda. So Linda, you said 10 years ago was your first trip to Uganda. So Linda has been a long-term supporter with a fire in her belly for water, but I'll let her tell you more about that. So Linda, tell us why you keep going and pushing forward to support more people to give the gift of clean water.
Well, I came to Fields of Life 10 years ago when I was the chairperson of Girls Brigade in Northern Ireland, and we were 125 years old, and we were looking for something to mark that occasion. And Richard Spratt had been invited to come along and speak to the board, and he spoke about schools and he spoke about clean water. And straight away, the clean water hit me so hard. But of course, the board wanted to build a school. Of course they did. So I found myself with this good man here, 10 years ago, Angus, in Uganda, where I never expected to be, and nearly talked myself out of going, and thank God that I didn't. And we were looking at building, or refurbishing, I should say, rebuilding, a school in Kasoro. Now, what they didn't tell us was it was lovely where we were. We had lovely 3 days with you, lovely and warm. Kasoro has its own climate. It rains there. So they don't actually need wells, they harvest rainwater. So our school didn't need a well. But while we were there, we were at the opening of a well. And I must say it's one of the most incredible things I have ever had the pleasure of seeing. And you know, those leaders spoke to us in the village, and they said quite openly, they knew they were drinking water that would kill them, that they were ill, but they had no other option. And that day, they had clean water for the first time ever. And you know, that hits you really hard. A wee while back in work, we had no water on site for 3 days. We were sent home. Not one of us said, oh, hang on, I'll take my water bottle down to the stream here and fill it up, we'll be grand. You wouldn't even dream of it. There's times when there's no hot water in the house and you're given off. It's just something we take so much for granted. And one thing I will say too, when we were in Casoro, you missed that, Angus, I spoke to some of the kids that were in the school, and I spoke to one wee boy, and I said to him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, I want to be the president. And I thought, oh, right, well, am I? And I spoke to another wee boy, and he says, I want to be the prime minister. And I thought, oh, we're getting a great school here. And I spoke to one wee girl. Now, my background's Girls' Brigade, and she said, I'm going to be a doctor. And I thought, good girl. And there's a wee boy sitting beside her, and I said to him, what do you want to be? He says, I want to be a parrot. And I thought, you know what? They all have their dreams, just the same as you and me. They all have their dreams. So that most basic gift of all, of clean water, is just what drives me forward, because I know the change that it makes and the opportunities that it gives. And yeah, we'll just keep going.
Amazing. And Linda's being far too humble to say, but she came back and mobilised her GB, her church community, and I think up to today they have raised enough funds to drill 7 wells as a community.
I should say, Naomi, you know my hubby Bill ran the marathon 2 years ago. Strongman love, Ironman. What do you think? Couple of friends? Aye.
Next year. Angus, could you tell us where the greatest need is right now?
Well, I think Linda's just talked about it. I mean, water is just fundamental. And I think we've also talked about it. South Sudan, the poorest country in the world, put those two together, and I think that's the answer to your question. I mean, for me, I'd just be amazed. Well, if you're walking down Orangefield here now and you saw a child with dirty water in a bottle, who wouldn't go and get a glass of clean water? And the only difference is distance. So there's where the greatest need is. And totally recommend that's a journey we need to go on, along with education and everything else, but water's fundamental.
Yeah. Thank you. So Mark, what does it look like in your area of involvement with Fields of Life to help a child say, I'm educated, safe, fed, or loved?
Well, all I would say to you is don't come to church when this very talented young lady preaches about Fields of Life, because she comes walking out and you meet her and you go, here, do you know something? I think we could do a kids club in Uganda. A year later, she preaches again. And I go, we really could do. Year later, we're going out to Uganda with a team to the school where we have sponsored in Nakawanzo the school block there. And what we're excited about in that team, my wife and I are leading the team, but there's a group of 11 of us. What we're excited about is actually building relationship now. We've been given to build the property and to build the premises, but we're extremely excited about building relationship and a bit of community and getting to know the folks that are there. That really excites us as a team. So it's been quite a journey, because our trip was supposed to go in March, but of course there was a war started. We were to fly through Qatar, and 4 days before we were supposed to go, it was cancelled. And it was devastating. I have to say, on a personal journey for me, spiritually, it was devastating. Low week, but we insisted on the team staying together and going out again. We looked, and we have Ronnie, I don't know, he's here somewhere, he's serving tea, or we're doing something tonight. Ronnie's a real Excel guru. He got this document put together of all our availability over the next year, and thankfully we're going back out again at the end of June, the last week in June, first week of July, and we're really excited about it. But there's one particular story, I suppose, in this journey of going here. We've got 3 retired teachers going, so it's went from doing kids club, which is my place that I love to be, to actually developing and working alongside the teachers, supporting them and giving them something back so they can give to the children. So there's that piece about educated. So one of our teachers that's going, our retired teachers, Thelma, and her husband was going to go, but he was only going for a bit of company. And he said, I didn't really have anything to give. And we stood out there one Sunday as we were coming out of church, and he said, right, I'm definitely going. I says, that's brilliant. They're talking about an agricultural program. So then just before we were leaving, we met with Monica from Uganda over Zoom, and we had our team meeting with her. Everything was great, and then we stayed on. Helen's here, and Monica and myself. And she said, you haven't mentioned the agricultural program. I says, no. She says, you got Keith there. Keith, and we'd told her about Keith. And Keith's job, he's a horticulturist, a very, very good one. And she says, oh. And I said, well, we weren't going to really concentrate on that. We were doing the teacher development. Some kids were going to do some painting. Oh, she says, definitely we need the agricultural piece. But here's the piece that's challenged me about the journey for Keith and us as a team. She said, in Uganda, in Nakawanzo, they put you out into the field as a punishment. They put you out into the field. And so the young boys and the young men, they work in the field as a punishment. And what she says was, we'd really love you to concentrate a lot on this so that Keith could come and tell his story, that he has chosen this as an educated man to have this as a way of life. And honestly, it was a eureka moment. It was just, whoa, go ahead, Lord. Didn't see it coming. And then when we started to talk to Keith, the excitement in Keith and the journey he was doing. So I think what I'm trying to say is, just turn up. If you're not sure should you go or what you bring, it doesn't really matter. I think it's about just turning up, and God will find that for you. It's really, really important. And that's the exciting thing that I am finding on the team. We're finding wee nuggets here and there and everywhere that I am extremely excited to see. The Lord postponed it on us in March. We're going out now again. I'm excited to see what He's got planned for us in it all for us as a team, but to build those relationships with the community there. So I'm not sure if that answered you.
We're really excited for you too.
Well,
Can't wait to hear all the stories when you're back. So Linda, same question for you. What does it look like in your area of involvement to help a child say, I'm fed, educated, safe and loved?
Well, I think we've already seen a lot of it tonight. It sits so well with Girls Brigade because it's the girls. You know, the girls just aren't rated. The dear girls don't get to school. The girls go to get water. You know, the dangers of that. And it just sat so well with GB. And, you know, we can speak that into the girls, you know, to sit down with my brigaders, the oldest girls, and just chat about, right, girls, this is what they're looking at here. You know, you have your dreams, they have their dreams, but it's just the safety of it all, to get that well into the village so that they're not walking those miles, they're not getting that dirty water, you know, they're not having the fear of being attacked, be that person or animal or whatever. And I think for me, that is the beauty of the water. You know, and we're not adverse to boys, let me say at all. You know, we're glad they're being helped too, but it certainly sits really well with GB because girls really don't have much of an opportunity there. And Tony's already, I mean, I love a wee presentation, you know, and I've been around most of the church organisations with my wee presentation. And my verse is, what you do for the least of them, you do for me. You know, what I would say, and I said it the last time that Naomi talked me into doing an interview at an AGM, the need's now, folks. The need is now. These people need help right now. So if God's been speaking to you, please listen, because He has a way of just keeping at you until you do listen. So just give in now. It's the easiest way, but the need is now. And, you know, there's nothing better we can do to love our Lord than to love these children of His. And as Angus said, and as I always say, the only difference between them and us is geography.
Beautiful. On that note, thank you guys so much for everything that you've shared, and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. So we've heard some incredibly powerful stories tonight of what's possible when people choose to stand alongside children and communities. And Esther gets to see that in her work every single day. She gets to see the fruit of that. So I'd love to invite Esther to come up and share with us a little bit more. Thanks, Esther.
Thank you, everyone. I'm very inspired. I thought I was coming to inspire you, but I'm greatly inspired. I've worked with NGOs for 26 years now, and one would think that I'm so used to seeing the situation you've seen here, but every child is unique. We never just get used. Whenever we come in such situations, it's always new because it's a life, it's an individual. And we can never get used to it. At times it's very emotionally draining, but what gives us hope is that we have a chance to turn it around. So I'm greatly inspired this evening as well. So right now I'm going to just talk about one child. I'm going to speak about one child because when one child is helped, a family is helped and a community is transformed. So I'm going to talk about a special child called Innocent. It was in 2022. I joined Fields of Life during lockdown. While others were locked down, I was busy looking for a job. So I joined Fields of Life in June 2020. And around 2022, that was my first opportunity to visit a district called Zombo. Zombo is in northwest Uganda, a very remote area, about 400 kilometers from Kampala, and the roads by then were really very bad. Fields of Life strives to ensure that we work with the farthest to reach, where nobody else would go, where others think it's expensive to operate, where they think it's unsafe, and communities which are really ignored. That's where we feel we are called to be. So on one of those trips, when I visited Zombo, I visited a partner school called Aluka Secondary School. And it was my first time to go to Zombo as a Ugandan because it's really very far. In fact, when I tell fellow Ugandans that I've been to Zombo, they're like, what had you gone for? Because it's really very, very far. So it was my first time to go to Zombo. And so usually when we visit these schools, there's singing, there's dancing, there's a lot of joy because just seeing Fields of Life, it represents hope. So they're usually very happy to have us. So when the head teacher decided to call the whole school together to just welcome us and pray with us. So they sang and a boy was playing the guitar during the assembly. So after the boy played, at the end of the assembly, I told the head teacher, that boy is really talented. What's his name? Then he told me it's called Innocent. I asked him, which class is he in? That is in senior 2. Oh, he's really talented. And then the teacher told me that boy is here today because we invited him to come and play the guitar for the visitors. Otherwise, he owes the school a lot of money. So we asked him to stay out of school until he brings the school dues. But he's just here for this. He's very talented, but unfortunately, he may not continue with his education. I looked at this very talented boy, a lot of potential, very confident on the outlook, but seemed like his dreams are going to be shattered. So within me, I asked myself, what can we do? Within me. So all the way to Kampala, my mind was racing. My mind was racing. And so I asked the head teacher to send us more information about this boy. And then it informed us that this young boy has a very troubled past. He had a very troubled past. And so he and his young brother, we are renting a small hut. I don't know if some of you have seen. I think in the West, those are most times like, I don't know. Have you seen grass-thatched houses? Like when the roof is grass, but not those like exotic ones like here. Back home is something different. The walls are mud and water. And usually the door is very short. It's very short. Somebody enters while bending, and the floors are usually mud. So he was renting such a small thing near the school so that he didn't have to walk a lot of distance to school. And had a young brother in primary, so he was responsible to pay his fees and that of his brother. He was responsible for the house rent and for their welfare in every way, including their medical care. And as such, he was not doing so well on his dues, and he was owing the school about £100, but that was keeping him out of school. Because this was a government school where they just contribute a little money. And so we decided to contribute to Innocent's journey. I remember I went home, I spoke to my husband about it. I told him I encountered this boy, but I can't stop thinking about him. What can we do? What can we do? Because I'm always challenged whenever I see many of you supporting children you will never meet, supporting children who are very different from you, but who are fellow human beings. The love challenges me. And for some of us as staff, we've equally challenged ourselves that we can't sit back. We should also be doing something as staff of Fields of Life East Africa. And so we agreed to work with Innocent to take him back to school. And I remember when I wrote the head teacher the message that myself and my husband have decided to ensure that Innocent stops worrying about his fees and about everything. But we have one concern. Can you write off the debt? Then the teacher told me, if you can commit to pay on time going forward, I can write off the debt. And that's when Innocent's life was changed. The debt was written off. So Innocent went through senior 1, senior 2, senior 2, 3, and 4. He was in senior 2 by then. And himself and his young brother didn't have to worry anymore about some of the things that will worry them most. So he could use his spare time to work just to meet some other basic needs. But that was a turning point. Sponsorship. Sponsorship can turn around the life of a child at whatever stage you come in. It's never too late. Whenever it comes in, it's important, and it will make a difference in a child's life. So when he finished his senior 4, he joined Vocational Training Institute. Fields of Life has partnered with the Church of Northern Uganda, Church of Uganda, Diocese of Northern Uganda, to construct a vocational training institute. This is a special region, again, where Fields of Life is working. It spent over 20 years in a civil war, which ruined the lives of many youth. They had no chance of going to school. And so Fields of Life has invested greatly in this vocational institute. And again, none of this would have been possible without your support. So it's a very well-equipped vocational institute, helping the youth to dream and to realize their dreams. And several courses are offered. Uganda is one of the youngest countries in the world. Some months it's number 1, some months it's number 2. But it's the youngest, one of the youngest, with 78% of the population below the age of 30. And 50% of the population is below the age of 15. So just imagine 50% are below age 15. So it's just a few of us who are above 30. Many of them are quite youthful. And so unemployment is a real problem. With the lack of tangible skills, it's hard to find a job. And so the Vocational Institute has come in handy to support our economy, because as industries come up and as we develop, these skills are very, very important. So, but many of the children, again, cannot afford access to this Vocational Institute because it's not government funded. It's purely private, supported by Fields of Life and the Diocese of Northern Uganda. And so to many of these children, joining this Vocational Institute would have been a dream. To most of them, in their minds, they would come nowhere near to those gates. But again, because of your support, over 100 children are supported every year on full bursaries. All their tuition is paid, and they just contribute a little towards utilities. And again, we thank you so much for that. So Innocent, again, got the opportunity to join this Vocational Training Institute to do a national certificate in building and construction. And so his life was turned around. He was given an opportunity to be a leader. He was a guild leader at the institute. He was leading praise and worship. his talent really came out. He was performing so well, and he kept telling me, I'm going to work so hard. I have to make you proud. And so I had the opportunity that I was dealing with someone I was seeing, and like maybe some of you never have a chance to meet these children. But again, it's something so precious, what our small contributions can do. And so he was able to get skills. And when he finished his education, he got a job. And not only his life turned around, but the life of his family and the life of his community is turning around. Innocent is part of the group that has just graduated this year. But his story is one of hope, resilience, and faith. Many children give up. They give up completely. But we see children overcoming because we make a decision to walk with them this journey. And this is a story of one child at a time. One child at a time. You may not be able to help many, but that one child that you help, you never know what they will become. We have so many wonderful stories back home of one child who has been sponsored and they turn around the whole community. We've seen children, one child who is helped, and this child is making an amazing contribution to the whole nation. We have all those wonderful stories. Myself, testimony about the impact of education to the girl child. Yeah, because I'm one of the few lucky girls who are able to grow up in a family that was supportive. I take it as a rare opportunity. But I can testify that it makes a whole difference empowering these children, empowering the girl child, to be able to be involved in making decisions that affect them. It leads to greater outcomes in health, economy, in every way as you can think, because this child can then be responsible. And also it's proven that children who have gone to school will make better informed decisions. They'll have better planned families, they'll have healthier children, they'll keep their children in school. But it starts with changing of one life of that one child. And then the ripple effect will come. They'll have impact on their own families, their children will be better off. And so that one seed that you're sowing leads to many fruits. I call upon you to please continue supporting Fields of Life. Thank you for that trust. Continue trusting us. And in case you are not yet supporting, please take that step. You can make a difference. You can make a difference in the lives of these children. Once again, I bring heartfelt appreciation from the team at Fields of Life East Africa, the children and their communities. Thank you so, so much. And I want us to watch a small video when Innocent is singing at his graduation. He composed a special song. Thank you.
Great pleasure that you have given unto me for these 2 years. I'm so grateful for having myself being succeeded for these 2 years. And I'm still praying for you that God should bless you so much. I don't have any other words to speak, but only one thing that I have to tell you, that I have a song that I'm going to appreciate you with. May God bless you for this. I'm playing Kisi. Hey, God bless you, dear mommy and papa, for sponsoring me today. I am grateful for these 2 years. I'm so blessed that you made it through. I am so grateful for what you have done. I am so grateful. I want to say, God bless you. God bless you, everyone. God bless you, Fields of Life, for what you have done to me. I know God is going to reward you a lot. And my future dream for you all is that God should make you succeed more than we do. Thank you for making me succeed as well. I have the hope of improving and doing more things more and increasing my studies until I finish everything that is set before me. Thank you so much for this support. Thank you. God bless you.
Hello. Just amazing. Esther, thank you so much for sharing about Innocent's story. What an amazing young man he is. That's us for this evening. As you can see, there's so much more I could have said. I could have talked about dozens of more schools. We didn't even mention the I Am Girl project of helping teenage mums back to school. We didn't talk about so many things. But I hope tonight that you walk away inspired. I hope that you feel like, yes, this is amazing. Let's celebrate what God has done through Fields of Life. But also there's so much more to do. I want to say a special thank you to Helen and all the team who put all the videos together. Can you give Helen a big clap? And a huge thank you to all the team, the Fields of Life team. I think I am very biased, but I think we have the greatest team ever. Really just exceptional people who all have such a heart and such a passion, who go way above the call of duty. So I'm just so grateful to all of you and for everybody who contributed tonight, and to Orangefield, who have really allowed us to use this space and to allow us to meet together. So thank you so much to Orangefield and to all the leaders there. So I hope you can stick around. I hope you can mingle and chat. And if I don't get chatting to you, thank you so much for coming. And thank you for joining in online. God bless you. Thank you.